Good Sunday afternoon, YouTube modeling community. Pappy here at West Georgia Rods and Customs. Hope everyone's getting them a little bench time in today. I definitely have been. Thought that I'd start getting some more interior work done on the 55 Chevy Pro Street that I've been building. I joined in on this group build being hosted by Dylan over there at New York State Modeling. Got a pretty good bit of it done, but what I thought I'd do today is show y'all how I do the flocking on the interior as far as the interior pan. I've got quite a good amount of as far as what I've got spray painted on the interior pieces. So to no further avail, let's get started. Here's what we're kind of using. As you can see right there, that's the floor pan. Of course, yep, it's going to be a little bit of Pappy red. So, but what I'm trying to do, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show y'all how I use which I like using the Ken's custom fuzzy fur. I get this and just different colors, just the different either reds, blacks, blues, what have you, of different bills that I'm doing. So to no further avail, here we go. Here's some of the things that you're going to need right here. It's what I like to use. I like to use an assortment of kind of wide bristle brushes right here. Oops, that one's going to fall off the table. But these are kind of wet, they're wide, and this one right here is kind of an angled. And I like using a round one. The reason behind that is when you start trying to get, the fuzzy fur packed down in here as far as the corners and around the rounded edges and things like that, that enables you, once you get the fur on it, you can just kind of pat it down with the wide ones and then get it in the corners with the little round bristle brushes. I'm going to do the package tray on this also. Now, what I use as far as glues, you can use whatever you want. Of course, I'm painting this Pappy red interior, and I'm either going to use what color I sprayed the floor pan with, which will be this, or I like using a lot of times dead flat clear. That's just as good as anything. You really don't want it to be shiny. So what I do is a lot of times I just use the dead flat clear as the adhesive on here. But this is what we're going to use today. We're going to take the red away, but sometimes I do use the whatever the color I started out with as part of the glue and spray it on there. Not heavily, but just enough to get that fuzzy fur to tack down. But today we're going to use the dead flat. What have I got a paper plate out for? Well, here's why I use it. Once I spray the clear, here's what I'll do is I'll set that in there and then I'll put the fuzzy fur on top of it. Let me go out in the shop right quick and we'll head out that way, and I'll show you what I do as far as the spraying. Okay, we're out here in the garage now. If you may notice, I've got a little bit of I got stuff taped off around where the rear seat's at. I just don't want to get no clear over on that where it'll get over on the seat, and that flocking will attach to the seat. So you'll see when I get it all untaped. So that's what I've got that masked off for. But all we're going to be doing is just the floor pan and the package tray. And here's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum durable top coat dead flat. All right, got it shook up. Let's get started painting. All right, here we go. Now, as you can tell, the stuff goes on. It goes on pretty heavy. See, that's okay. Now, it's going to be tacky. So you just need to kind of treat it with a little bit of just kid gloves. And as you can see, now we're going to run in here right quick and we're going to do the... Okay, had to run in here right quick while it's still kind of wet and tacky, and just where I can kind of get it where I can put the Ken's fuzzy fleur on here. But here we go. As you can see, the stuff is really just a fine, let's say, it's not like the embossing powders. This is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's more like just fuzzy. It's very, very fine cut. And trust me, guys, don't worry about being kind of liberal with it. This stuff goes a long way, and you'll see here in just in a little bit. Yeah, I got it over on that, which I really don't care. Doesn't bother me. But just get creative, guys. This is what's fun about doing this stuff. I've had people tell me, God, I've had horror stories with this stuff, and it just, just be creative with it. It's the best I can tell you. What I'm doing, as you can see, I'm using using this real fine, it's a fine bristle flat. I'm just patting it down. I'm just using the width of it to kind of distribute the flocking into just all over the pan itself. Don't worry about how. Let me get my big old finger out of the way. See, we're just dusting it in different areas. Once it gets on the pan, once you get it on the plastic of the floor pan itself, you'll see the results. It looks like right now it's kind of clumpy. It's best not to do this in front of a fan either, guys. Best not to do it in front of a fan unless you want your flocking to go everywhere. But here's what we're doing. We're just patting it down in that wet flat clear. Just like that. I had if you noticed before I got started, I had taped up the accelerator pedal right there. I'm gonna peel that off when we're all said and done, and I'll paint that area black with a little detail painting. But just pat the fur down through the, just pat it into that. Where's my round one? This is what I like to use the round one for, kind of getting it over that transmission hump. And then down into the corners of the fender wells. And then right down where the seat comes down into the floor pan itself. It's just a round bristle brush. That's all that is. And then just kind of do that right in there. Then you can as you can see, I'm kind of doing the same scenario right here. If you get a little area where you might need a little bit, just pick some up off of the pan, off your pie pan or paper plate, whatever you're using. And just remember, all you're doing is patting that down through there. When you tear the tape off, that also leaves you a nice little line separation between the styrene and where you've put your fuzzy fur. Let me get a little bit more up on there. Sometimes once it starts drying out, I like to take my finger and just kind of pat it down in there. Okay, let me get it off my fingers here. There we go. Let me move it around a little bit so y'all can see kind of the effect of what I've done. Get you a different angle on it here. Let me pat that down a little bit more. Now, if there's areas where you don't want the fur to touch or you don't want the fur to accumulate, just take it and take you a piece of tape it off, and go from there. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit. Let me get off. I'm gonna come back off camera here just in a few minutes and show you what we've got done. I took I got the floor pan over here, just kind of letting it dry for a little bit. I'll come back here in about 30-40 minutes once it's really good. Got a good tacking to it. Now, you probably go, well, Pappy, you made a mess. Nah, didn't make a mess. This stuff right here is, like I said, it goes a long way. I'm gonna get all this cleaned up off my bench here. And see, all you gotta do, that's why I use the paper plate. Just take it, turn your little bottle, let this stuff come in, just turn it sideways, scoop it up, get it cleaned up, tap it down, just like that. Good for the next build that you're gonna do. You're gonna have a lot come off when you bump it back out. You dump what's left on the floor pan from what we just put on. All right, hold tight, and let me get all this cleaned up. Okay, we've waited probably about 15 minutes tops, let that stuff dry. Now, as you can see, there's what we got as far as our finished product. Got some lumps and bumps in it, but here's where the magic comes out. Just take where it's dry, turn it over, take your brush, and just tap a little bit. And try not to breathe this stuff in. I'm sure it's not good for you, but wear you a mask or what have you. If you got some breathing problems, I mean, this is fine dust. Sure don't need this in your lungs. Then just, anywhere where you got an accumulative amount of the powder, and there's your final product, guys. Let me get it up a little bit closer. Then here's where you can just kind of level. You can level all these areas out with your. Don't try to drag. Don't drag lightly. Don't drag. The seat's going to be over this, but wherever your floorboard is going to be exposed, just kind of lightly. Let me get my hand out of the way. Just kind of lightly drag. Just drag that brush over there. A lot of your details will start coming out. Right there's where it's, and then right here, this package tray. Just drag that out there. Try to brush anywhere you've got it accumulated at. If you got a lump or something, you can kind of smooth it out. You can just kind of pat it out like that. All right, now we've got all the accumulative amount of it out. Just take and do you a final bump. And there you go. If you got an area that you might have missed a little out on, you can always go get you just get you a little white glue, a little Elmer's glue, thin it out a little bit. And you can always just take your brush, dip it in it, and just touch it a little bit. And then take some of this that you got right here and put it back in that spot right there. All right, guys, I'm gonna peel the tape off here in a minute and show you the final product. If you're trying to figure out how to get some of this up, you can take you a brush, or here's what I like to do. I've seen this from this is just an old razor blade that I've got. Here's what you can do. You can just scrape this stuff up. Just take it, scratch it up, get it to one corner, put it in here. There's how much I use. Not even a half a bottle on that. So I get this back in there and back in here, and that bottle will be pretty much full. Well, guys, there's the final job on the flocking. As you can tell, it turned out pretty good, as far as I'm concerned. Convincing to me. But there's the interior coming to shape on the 55 Chevy Pro Street. And there's the other door panel. Got a lot of detail work. Still got a little bit more work to do. Still got to, I'm going to take right in here. This panel's going to turn red. That way I can kind of detail the air vents. And those actually looks more like speakers than it does an air vent. But that's where we're at so far. Still got to do a lot more detail. Going to put a shifter in the floor, put the seat belts in there, and then I think I'll call this one a wrap on the interior. Still got to do the detail on the dash panel, things like that. And I'll keep y'all updated on that. Well, guys, talk to y'all later. God bless y'all. Hope y'all have a great work week. Pappy out.